You're ready.
Okay, so who here brushes their teeth in the morning? If offered a glass or bottle of milk, who would drink it? Nobody, right? You guys would? Okay, well, mostly nobody. And who here exercises or does sport? Okay, so based off your guys' answers, it's pretty obvious that we take care of our bodies mostly from the outside, not really from the inside. Because who of you guys here makes time to check up on the status of your mind? No one, right? So as someone who's really interested in like the psychological perspective of everything, I'm really aware that taking care of our minds isn't a concept that is popular amongst people, but it does affect everyone. So today, I'm going to be teaching you guys about mental hygiene, and starting off with what the definition is, why it's important to each of us, and how to maintain good mental hygiene. So beginning with the definition, mentalhealth.gov says that mental hygiene is to take care of the status of our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. And good mental hygiene pretty much affects us in every situation, so it affects our behaviors, our actions, and our thoughts. And so I have a picture here of two people on a roller coaster. It's really small, but you guys can see it. So a way that I like to think of it, it's pretty easy to think of. If we go back to the metaphor that says life is a roller coaster, this metaphor pretty much explains that in life there's unexpected bumps, turns, and everyone has to deal with them. So the person that's like really happy over there on the roller coaster, this person has good mental hygiene because like even though she's going through unexpected things in her life, she still has a positive attitude towards it because she's housing positive thoughts in her head. And the person over there that's going crazy, this person has bad mental hygiene because he doesn't know how to handle them, he doesn't know what to do, and he just becomes really distraught when there's an obstacle that's put in front of him. So moving on to why mental hygiene is important is because, like I said, it affects everyone. And in the beginning, we identified that we brush our teeth, and we do this because we don't want food bits to rot our smile, and we wouldn't drink rotten milk because it's an awful feeling and it'll probably get us sick. And we exercise because we want to keep our bodies in good shape. So our mind works the same way. Our mind could also rot if we house them with bad thoughts, and they could also create awful feelings for us. And then if we don't have good thoughts, our mind can also be in bad shape. So whether you have an immature mentality or a mature one or anything in between, it's going to affect you if you have good or bad mentality. So a way that we can have, I don't know, like bad mentality or how it comes into our lives is, I'm pretty sure that most of us here have a busy schedule, so we go to work or we drive to school and we deal with really annoying people or really annoying traffic, and then to top it off we have hours of homework to complete. And each of these tasks kind of like carry dirt into our mind, and if we don't address it, and if we don't take care of our mind and like look at our minds and say, okay, like this is affecting me in a bad way, like it's making me have a bad mood or a bad attitude, then that's how we have bad mental hygiene. And if we take the time to recognize that we're having those bad thoughts, then if we address them, then that's when we have good mental hygiene. So I have a statistic that says the most common consequence of mental hygiene results in 22% of Americans aged 18 and older, which would be 1 in 5 Americans, suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder in a given year. So 1 in 5 Americans that are adults, that's a lot. So this pretty much just highlights how it can happen to anyone. And along with that, 4 out of the 10 leading causes for disability in the United States come from mental disorders such as major depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and anxiety disorder. So based off of this statistic, you can see how it's really common for a lot of people to get these mental disorders, and the reason why we get them is because we pretty much let them build up in our mind since we don't take care of our minds. So finally, I'll be discussing the way to maintain good mental hygiene. And this would be to stay aware of your thoughts and make sure that they're positive and constructive ones. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the law of attraction, but the law of attraction pretty much states that you have the power to attract negative energy or positive energy. And so if you're attracting positive energy, that means that you're keeping positive thoughts regardless of what's happening in your life. And if you're attracting negative, that means that you're, pretty much accepting what's the bad that is happening to you and let it get to your head. And so the way that we can keep good mentality is to use the law of attraction to attract positive energy instead of negative. So in conclusion, it is evident that there is really more of taking care of ourselves. There is more to taking care of our bodies than just the outside, which would be to take care of our minds. And I want to remind you guys that mental health requires a lot of attention in order for us to keep it in tip-top shape. And without good mental hygiene, we don't have a good state of mind. Instead, we have mental illnesses and negativity. So with good mental hygiene comes good health, which is something we should all strive to do.
Yeah, this is a script. I don't want a script. The outline that you gave me is fine. Does it have a bibliography here with this with the original? Okay.
Does it?
That doesn't look like it, so I'll take that. No, that's okay. Just give that to me. Thanks. Fine. All right, I thought you rushed a little bit in your introduction, but I like the ideas that you had there with the kind of survey questions that you're asking people, and there's a nice identification of your topic. I think you have a very clear thesis statement and a good justification and preview at the beginning of the speech. In the body of the speech, I didn't think the transitions were as clear as they needed to be, especially for the first and second points. When you got to the third point, that was a little bit more explicit. The definition of what you're talking about was okay, but I didn't hear really any supporting material. There was a statistic that you presented at one point. I don't know where it came from. You had a couple of definitions that you created. I don't know if you created those or they come from someplace else. You mentioned the law of attraction. I don't know where you read about that. I assume that some of this stuff is right out of your textbook, so why you're not citing your textbook is a little beyond me. I know you've got a bibliography because I just got it in my hands, so why aren't you referring to some of the sources that you presented there? That's a problem. You need to make sure that you do that. I like the explanations that you gave. There's some nice analogies that you draw there. I like the idea of comparing it to the physical health that people have. That works pretty well. The visual materials are very limited. You only have the one little picture. It illustrates one concept, and I'm not sure even how well it illustrates that concept. There's no follow-up with specific information about the contrast between the two people that you have there. You just say that this is what it means, and I don't know why that's an illustration or why you make that particular inference. It seems to me that the person who is so calm but looking forward to what's going on the roller coaster is in denial, and the other person recognizes what's right in front of them. So maybe they're more in touch with their feelings. I don't know. I'm just telling you that's another way to interpret that, and it's just as valid as the one you've got without any information to support it. Now you, I think, have information to support it, but you need to cite that information like we talked about.
I forgot what I had said.
Yeah, the delivery is pretty good, except, of course, at the beginning when you have those big pages in your hand while you're giving the speech. Now, we just did a speech where we're focusing on delivery. You did a much better job with that because you weren't relying on the notes. Probably you hadn't practiced enough recently, so you felt like you need to have that. But once you started going and you got those out of your hand, I thought you did a much better job on that. All right, thank you.